Hello everyone. In the series of our discussion of the drama Macbeth, we have seen three acts of this drama, and now we are in the act 4. So the major action that took place in these three acts is Macbeth and Banquo made three witches, and these witches made few prophecies about these two men. Macbeth became overambitious, and while the King Duncan was his royal guest in his castle, he murdered him, and the entire allegation of murdering the king was framed on the head of the security guards who were guarding the king outside his room. Now, Macbeth has become the king of Scotland, and now he sees Banquo and his son Flints as his major threat. Now he wants to remove these two men, and that's why he hired three murderers to kill them. Banquo was killed, but his son Flints escaped. And at the royal banquet, Macbeth sees the ghost of Banquo, and he behaves in a very insane way. On the other hand, Macduff sees some kind of conspiracy, and that's why he has gone to England to seek the help from there just for the restoration of King Duncan's reign. And this was the major action that took place in these three acts. Now we are in Act 4. Now it is the scene of second meeting of Macbeth with the witches. The witches are boiling their magic broth. Macbeth goes to the witches again to hear what they have to say about his future. The witches welcome him. Macbeth is asked whether he wants to hear the answer of his question from their lips or from their masters. Macbeth wishes his questions to be replied by their masters. The witches use their magic powers, and horrible apparitions are produced before Macbeth. The first apparition is an armed head. This first apparition cries out, "Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth," and warns him against Macduff. The second apparition is in the form of bloody child appears. It asks Macbeth to be bold, bloody, and resolute. It tells Macbeth that he should be afraid of no man born of woman. The third apparition that appears is a crowned child. It asks him to be proud and courageous. Macbeth should not fear till Birnam Wood comes to hide Dunsinane Hill. Just for your explanation, Birnam Wood is the name of a forest near Scotland, and Dunsinane Hill is the place where the castle of the king remains. Thus, all the three apparitions ensure security of Macbeth. Now, Macbeth is fully assured that he has no danger. Last of all, Macbeth wants to know what will happen to the children of Banquo. At first, he is not replied to, but later on, he is shown a sight of 8 kings, followed by Banquo's ghost. The last of the 8 kings has 2 fold balls and treble scepter, which is a horrible sight to Macbeth. Then the witches dance and disappear with Hecate. Macbeth keeps standing in amazement. Macbeth feels very much disgusted at the last show. He curses the witches for it. This meeting has really a very great effect on Macbeth's mind. Lennox enters and informs Macbeth of Macduff's flight to England. Macbeth decides on killing Lady Macduff and her children. Rose comes to Lady Macbeth and tells that her husband Macduff has run away to the court of England to meet Malcolm. She does not understand why her husband has done so when she and her children are in danger. She is engaged in a talk with her cousin Rose. She charges her husband with faithlessness and want of affection and love towards her and her child. Rose tries to justify the conduct of her husband. He also tells her that her troubles may soon end. After this, Rose goes away, and Lady Macduff engages herself in playful laughing and joking with her little son. Soon a messenger comes and warns her of the approaching murderers. He advises her to flee away and he himself runs away. She, in innocence, pleads that she has done no harm to anyone. Then the murderers come. Lady Macduff is horrified to see their ghastly faces. They inquire of Lady Macduff about her husband. They murder the young child of Lady Macduff before her eyes. She flees away from the scene and the murderers run after her. In the court of England, Macduff has reached England on account of the tyranny of Macbeth. Malcolm, the elder son of King Duncan, has taken shelter in English court. Macduff meets Malcolm before the palace of the King of England. Macduff complains of the woeful condition of Scotland under Macbeth's cruel rule. At first, Malcolm does not believe the words of Macduff. Macduff gives a graphic description of the sufferings in Scotland. Malcolm suspects Macduff because he was a supporter of Macbeth. He thinks that Macduff might be an agent of Macbeth to entice him into the clutches of the tyrant rule of Scotland. Macduff offers an explanation. Then Malcolm begins to speak against his own self. Malcolm tells Macduff that he has no kingly qualities. Macduff now regrets the fate his country. After the Malcolm is frank and tells Macduff that he is ready to march against Macbeth with 10,000 men. Macduff is overwhelmed at the happy turn of things. At this moment, a doctor comes from the court. He tells Malcolm that the king will soon appear there to bless and cure the assembled subjects who are suffering from the king's evil. Malcolm explains to Macduff that the king's evil is a serious disease which the doctors cannot cure, but it disappears with the touch of the holy hand of the English king. At this moment, Rose arrives. He relates the misery and oppression that have befallen Scotland. Macduff asks him about his wife and children, but Rose gives an evasive reply. Rose has come to England to solicit Malcolm's help to overthrow Macbeth. He tells Malcolm and Macduff that on his way to England he has heard rumor that people have risen in revolt against Macbeth. Malcolm assures him that they are soon marching against Macbeth with all Seward and his 10,000 men. Ross now tells Macduff the sad news of the savage murder of the Macduff's family by Macbeth. Macduff is filled with anguish and remorses at this. This crime becomes the final incentive to Macduff. He pulls himself together and prays that they may meet Macbeth in the evening battle.